Good morning, boys and girls. So this morning the plan is to do a few rotations, and during this jam station what I'd like you to do is find your one subject math spiral, and if you haven't already, I'm going to ask that you go ahead and take a Sharpie that I should have on the table, and let's go ahead and write math on the outside so that we know that this one belongs to math. And only math stuff should go in this math spiral. Since it's only one subject, we want to make sure that we use our paper wisely, and that may mean that when we're taking notes together, I'll probably give you some specific directions about whether or not we're going to use the front and the back, or maybe just the front side of a page. So stay tuned for those directions when we take notes. But this spiral really should not be used for any other subject. I should not ever see science information, word study in here, any social studies. This is only for math. And if for some reason you misplace this math spiral, then I would like you to just write it on notebook paper, and later when you have your math spiral, we can just attach it with either glue or tape into your jam. And you're probably thinking, why is she calling this a jam? So right now what I want you to do is go ahead and turn to the first page. So in my spiral I have this nice little pocket, so that's not what I'm talking about, but I am talking about the first notebook page. And I often refer to our math journal as our jam, and I call it our jam because it's our journal about math. Okay, and it looks like I need to go ahead and get something out to write with. So it is okay to use color. In fact, I encourage color when we are taking notes. So right now at the top, I'm going to go ahead and write on this first line, journal about math. So your J-A-M. And I'm also going to go ahead and put my name here, so that, and I would encourage you to put your name, because if I find this journal around the classroom, or maybe another teacher finds it, we know who to return it to. So basically what I want you to do today is I want you to write 3 simple rules about our journal for math. So I'm going to switch colors because I do like to use a lot of color. So I'm just going to kind of skip down to the middle area, and I'm going to write the rules. Rules are like guidelines, things I want to remember about taking notes in math. So the first thing is, we always want to write neatly and legibly. And I know for some of us, we're working on our handwriting. But it really is important when you are taking notes to be able to read what it is that you wrote down. So while I do a lot of our notes in math that are guided, I just want you to remember that the purpose of writing notes is to be able to go back and use them. If you can't read them, you aren't able to use them. Then I would consider that a waste of time. And I don't want to waste anybody's time. So I'm going to go ahead and write rule number 2. And rule number 2 is to copy everything Miss Barlow, and that would be me, writes. And so that's important because I have been doing this a while, and I do know that a lot of us are able to write and remember, and I know that our brain works when we're able to use our hands, when we're able to listen, but also when we're able to see things. And so that's going to help us make better connections with all of the math that we're learning this year. And if I ask you to write something down, it's probably because I feel like it's pretty important. So that's going to be very important for you to remember this year. If I ask you to write something down, then I'm going to want you to write everything that I'm asking you to write. Okay? So at any time during this video, if you feel like I'm going too fast or you need to catch up, I do want you to go ahead and hit pause so you can just write everything that I'm writing. And that goes for anything that we may be doing on Schoology or any other videos that you may see. And then our last rule for our notes is one that's going to help our brains make better connections. And I'm a firm believer in use color. We want to use color for notes, because that kind of stimulates our brain. It helps us to think about something. Oftentimes, if you think about a memory, you may think about the colors that you see, maybe somebody's shirt, maybe somebody's hair color. Color is important to our brain to help us make those connections, to be able to fall back on that memory. But, this is the but, do all math work in pencil. Mistakes are going to happen, and we want to be able to erase and try again. And unfortunately, when sometimes we choose to use pen or we choose to use marker, it can be messy, it cannot look neat. Sometimes if we do make those mistakes, then it's like we need to start all over because we can't find our place. So using pencil for the math work is going to be important. So while color is what we want to use for notes, we want to use pencil for the math work. All right? And those are my 3 rules for our math jam. So if you've got these rules written down, then you are finished with this station.